Okay, good morning, everyone. So just waiting for all the panelists to be joining in. Thank you for joining this session for all our attendees. Good morning, Pernille, Ora, and Charlotte. Thank you so much for joining this webinar today. So for the audience, first of all, I just wanted to quickly run through what's Fika with, because it's a word that you might not be completely familiar with. It's a Swedish word for taking a coffee break. Swedish people love it. And actually, I found this interesting fact that the Nordic people drink the most coffee in the entire world, over the Italians even. So that's quite an interesting fact, I would say. So I hope you have your coffees ready. So for everyone in the audience, it's about an hour session. We have already had quite a lot of questions through, so we're going to try to run them through at the end. If you have another question throughout the session, you can join that, add that in the Q&A section below. So I just thought we'd just jump straight in, and I'm going to start. Maybe Pernille, if you want to tell us a little bit about where organic is at the moment in Denmark.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Melina. Thank you for this opportunity to be part of this coffee break. In Denmark, the organic sector is booming and has done throughout the whole pandemic. We have gone up quite amazingly and more than the conventional market. So I think pandemic and the potential danger of being sick or taking more care of your health and organic goes well together. So everything is really, really good in Denmark, and the 3 first months of 21 looks amazing. So
yeah, you've had some fantastic results already, so
yes.
That's be interesting to see how it develops further.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, do you want to explain a little bit about the market in Sweden, where we're at currently as well?
So hello everyone, good morning. In contrast to Denmark, Swedish consumers have not been turning to the organic segment during the pandemic. Instead, the organic segment has experienced tough competition from other added values, such as food from Sweden, climate-friendly plant-based food, local food. But still, the market share is 9%, which is quite high. I think just Denmark and Schweiz are ahead of us. And also the organic share of the total farmland is 20%. Which is very high, and also in the public sector, I still think we are the world champions with 38% of the public consumptions being organic.
Thank you very much. I think it's interesting to see such a contrast between Sweden and Denmark on that front, where those values have changed. And Ora, do you want to tell us a little bit about Finland and what organic is like at the moment?
Yes, thank you. In recent years, organic production and consumption have grown quite steadily in Finland, and the growth has been bigger than the whole market, and in the pandemic time too. But of course, we are far behind from Denmark and in Sweden. Our market share of organic is only like 2.6%. But it differs in different categories. We have good categories, like for example in eggs and baby food, our market share is over 24%, which is quite well. And the most sold products are fruits and vegetables and dairy products in organics, and our organic our share of organic agricultural land is 14%, which is smaller than in Sweden, but it's better than the EU average.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's good. So farmland seems to be quite high still. That's really interesting. There's clearly some kind of demand there. Yeah. So Pernille, I want to go back to you actually, because Organic Denmark has quite the message about sustainability, and organic is obviously part of this. Where does organic actually sit in terms of the overarching sustainability message?
I would say that organic not only delivers on by biodiversity, protection of drinking water, responsible consumption, and a range of other sustainability goals. It's also unique in delivering one-stop shopping for so many sustainability goals with a controlled, certified production. And organic farming have also gotten recognition from the UN Climate Panel, FAO, and other contribution to food security and to climate tools. Organic has not in any way solved the climate crisis, but it contributes with solutions. So organic is a solid sustainability message. It goes, it talks into a lot of the UN goals and is part of the solution. That's the message, I think.
And do you find, like Charlotte, for example, do you see that in your like kind of position and where your point of view is that, do you agree with that as well? Do you think sustainability is, organic is part of sustainability, and that's yeah, one of the sort of main drivers for sustainability?
It is. It goes hand in hand. You cannot be sustainable without organic. That's very clear. It's part of the solution. As I said, it's not that organic solves all the climate crises, but it's necessary for having clean drinking water, for example, or animal welfare, proper nature. So it's we saw that Sweden was going a little bit back, and we have been fighting, and we still do, to give on the message that organic is part of the solution, because in Denmark consumers were starting also to run after the only the sustainability agenda and forgetting to take organic with them. So it goes hand in hand. It's very important to take organic into this.
Definitely, and I think with the Swedish market, Charlotte, like you were saying, the other added values have taken over the organic sector a little bit. So do you want to talk a little bit about how, you know, why are people not buying vegan and organic, for example, in Sweden? Is it two contradicting messages, do you think?
Well, it's easier to think of one question at a time, like food from Sweden, plant-based food, local food. They are like based on a single dimension. Organic, however, is a tool for working with several sustainability dimensions at once, as Pernille said. So I agree, organic production is, I would say, very much part of the solution and delivers on many of the SDGs, including the most important ones, like such as climate action, biodiversity, clean water. So yes, it's up to us. I would say that we need to explain to the consumers that organic is part of the solution, and also there's no other food system that is recognized on a global level, that are based on common standards, that are guaranteed by third-party certification, and finally labeled so that consumers can choose the food system in the shelves. So in that way, organic production is unique, and the best we can do is to promote the systems as much as possible, as the world needs more biodiversity, clean water, healthy soils, natural healthy food.
Yeah, of course. And that kind of brings on a little bit to the next question, actually. So Aura, for example, from your perspective in Finland, what's the current biggest obstacle for buying organic? I think from sort of a consumer perspective, could you tell us a little bit what you think those obstacles might be?
Well, we have many obstacles for the organic growth, but maybe one thing is the price, and when you ask from the consumers, they always say that we want to buy more organic, but it's too expensive. And I think this the same situation is in many European countries. But of course, it's not the whole truth. In Finland, we desperately need more organic products in many categories. We don't really have like organic bread products, and we need more like organic meat products. And like Charlotte said, we have also these problems with these that people want to buy vegetarian options and maybe not organic, but we have also the problem that we don't have like organic vegetarian products, that people can't even choose those. So we need like a meat and milk substitutes that are also organic products. But I think maybe the maybe in Finland, I think maybe the biggest problem is still like maybe lack of understanding in organics, because I think these like ordinary Finnish consumers, they don't actually even know what the food production is at all. So the level of like understanding what organic farming is, it's really low. And this talk of climate change is also maybe a little bit confusing to some consumers, because there are some arguments that organic would be worse for the climate. We all know that it's not so simple, and there's like many different angles, but it's really confusing. But however, I think it's also this talk about this species extinction and biodiversity is rising, and I think it's quite clear that organic farming is support for the biodiversity. So I think we should really much talk about that more and communicate to consumers about the benefits for the biodiversity.
I think it's interesting how the lack of education or understanding is quite an important point here, I think, because I'm just gonna say something personal, but I have my own well with groundwater, and I've always been very into organic, and it's now that I've realized that we're using the water from this well, so anything that we put into the soil is going to end up in my well, and that's really hit home with me, actually. So you're all making a really good point in terms of, you know, people maybe don't realize that when they're buying conventional products, that the pesticides that potentially are on there will run off into the water that you will then consume and drink as well. So I think that's really interesting. And Ora, just want to expand a little bit on there's a lack of products in certain categories you mentioned in Finland. Is Finland looking to produce those products themselves, or is there more kind of a reliance on importing those products?
Well, I think Finnish consumers, if we speak like meat products and bread products, maybe they want Finnish organic products, especially in meat. But of course, when we talk about these vegetarian options, I think they could also be imported to Finland. And I think it's not so, the consumers are not so keen on that. Are they from Finland, or maybe from Denmark or in Sweden? I actually saw some really interesting like organic milk substitutes, these oat milks from Denmark a couple of weeks ago, and I hope that we will get them to Finland too.
That's good. So Pernille, I know in Denmark some of the prices of organic food, which is obviously an obstacle for a lot of consumers, has actually been pushed down. Do you know the reason behind that? Sorry to throw a question at you, but you're on mute.
It's incredible that you can still be on mute after 1.5 years online. Sorry for that.
I agree.
I think that especially the basics, organic products like oat and milk and eggs, and especially oat. I think oat is the one that is selling more than conventional. And it's probably also a question about volume, that the more you sell, the better prices. But also it's, I guess it's also for the retailers a good selling point to have organic into the supermarkets that are attractive for everybody. And we have retailers, also discounters. I think 10 years ago we also started to address organic to the discounters, which was really, I wouldn't say dangerous, but I think the producers of organics got a little bit shocked that we could put organics into discount. But the thing is that everybody should be able to afford organic, and that's the whole work behind it. Organic shouldn't be for special people with special income and special stores. It should be for everybody, also single father with 3 kids. And that's the whole work to get there. And I think that's a little bit a part of the question, or answering the question, is that we need to make, when we work together with the retailers, we also help them understand that organic is not something that should be more expensive than conventional. It's very important, but of course there's a lot of complicated things about round production, etc., and different categories that is more. But high quality in food is always more expensive. And I was thinking about the price barrier, because price is a barrier, but it's also very expensive to eat crappy food on the long run for
absolutely
any country.
That's very true. And I think one thing that's quite interesting with sort of people eat out a lot, for example, that's expensive, and it's not always organic either. So people have different priorities when it comes to what they like to spend their money on.
But of course, the price barrier shouldn't be there. But we're getting there slowly with the more categories, more consumers. But it's all about also communication. It's also about holding the retailers on to being focused on organic. When they run away and run after other agendas, we need to make them aware that organic is part of the solution. Communication with the consumers and with the retailers, with the politicians and the farmers is very, very important. And we cannot stop doing that. We have to continue. So being world leading organic nation with a 12.1% is fantastic, but 12% honestly is not very much. It could be better.
I think one interesting argument also is that the prices of conventional food is sometimes too low, and that's quite interesting. So you do then get the bigger gap between organic and conventional.
Well, we never talk bad about conventional because they work within the law. They do not do anything wrong. So that's not the discussion. The discussion is to talk positively about organic. And of course, I mean, it should be a fair competition so that organic sold in the retailers should have the price that they have and not being pushed up because there's a potential to earn more money. I mean, the retailer should have a fair prices so everybody can afford to buy organic. It's a choice. It's a consumer's own choice. It should be. Yeah,
definitely. So in terms of putting sort of more attractive products on retailers' shelves and things, what are some of the things that they should be thinking about? Have you, Pernille, start with you. Have you seen any initiatives from retailers where they have done something really well that's really pushed sales through, for example?
Well, we have been working together with the retailers for, I don't know, now I say 25 years, maybe it's longer. I think it's 42 years. I actually organic started up together with a retailer because the organic farmers needed somewhere to sell their products. So we do a lot of things. We make sure we make all the facts and figures and available in the stores. Also in Denmark, we do not have 100% organic stores, so we make sure to make it very visible with the organic red label on the shelf, so that the organic product is next to its conventional cousin. We make marketing events and plans together with the retailers. What could I mention? And also for the consumers, all the events that we make. And I think 3 years ago we had this, 2 years ago, together with the EU, we had this ren madglæde. I don't know how to translate, if you know what it is, and if there's nobody understanding Danish among us. Pleasure food, I think, where we work together also with the retailers with the message of organic food and the pleasure of eating it, involving the consumers in any level in the stores. I don't know if that's example enough.
No, but it sounds, you know, having a close relationship with the retailers is
it's very important, because they are the ones selling it, and they are the one having the direct connection with the consumers. So they have a responsibility of having organic available inside the stores. So that's quite important, I think.
Charlotte, you have your Organic September campaign that you launched a couple of years ago now. So you, of course, work quite closely with retailers on that front. What have you seen have been more successful over the last couple of years, I guess?
Well, Organic September, we run the campaign for 2 years now. And I would say from year to year, more companies and more actors join the campaign. And it's very flexible, and you can join as much as you like. Either you just use the Organic September logo and the orange campaign color, and you put that together with your own campaign materials, or you can pick the whole campaign toolbox and use our campaign materials as you like. So the more companies, processors, and retailers that find out about the campaign and join it, the more it will grow. So we got positive response from many parts of the food chain. So it's very positive.
Yeah, I think again, it's, you know, having that kind of close relationship with the retailers, that's definitely a key element. Ora, I know there's a campaign in Finland as well, actually, which runs in, correct me if I'm wrong, October, I want to say, to promote organic products. What's been the success in that campaign?
Well, yes, we have this EU co-funded campaign, this Organic is a Good Sign campaign, which started in October. We have had some television advertising and advertising in online, but we have a little bit problems. We had the plans that we should be starting this great event tour in malls, but of course, because this Corona situation, we have had to postpone it, and maybe we are starting this autumn. But I think we have a pretty good start, and the campaign still runs 1 year from this, so it ends next summer, and we are making new advertising material next week, and I think it's quite good. Our one goal is to increase the awareness in this EU organic logo, and I think we have succeeded in that, and the EU organic logo is now the most the people sorry, we have
people recognize the EU logo.
Now the more than before.
Yeah,
so Yes.
So that's been a quite successful campaign, it sounds like, to get the message out there.
Yeah.
So obviously you mentioned Corona, so I think we're going to have to speak a little bit about the pandemic as well. So I know you briefly introduced in the beginning, all of you, I think, how the pandemic has kind of planned out a little bit. Has there been any kind of interesting consumer trends that that any of you have seen that you want to mention?
I think the plant-based products is worth talking about, and putting organic onto the plant-based products. You have a double fantastic opportunity to sell products. And also in Denmark, we talk more about more vegetables and less but better meat, so that you have. I think that's one of the things that has been very solid installed in everybody's head now. The sales in Denmark is, and also the effect of some of the biggest retailers only selling organic bananas has also made the bananas of organic banana sales going really up in an amazing way. I think 66.5% up. So that's incredible. And the carrots and the oatmeal and the yogurt and so on. I mean, the plant-based products is in together with.
We've lost your audio, Pernille, I think. Maybe try muting and unmuting yourself. Sometimes this happens.
That's when I talk too much.
You're still gone. Let's move on to Charlotte in the meantime, in that case, until we have you back, Pernille, sorry. So obviously in Sweden, the pandemic has had a negative effect on organic, like you said, because there's been added values. Where do you see the potential for, if you go back to the plant-based sort of discussion, where do you see the potential in organic and plant-based in Sweden?
Yes, as we talked about before, you should not be forced to choose either plant-based or organic or local food. So we need to produce more products with all those added values. So as a consumer, you can find organic plant-based local products in the shelves. And we need to explain why local organic is the most local products you can find, as organic production is not does not rely on imported inputs in the process. So it's more local and more circular, and it's up to us to explain that and also promote the production of that kind of food. As we see that many consumers prioritize and value the benefits that organic brings, such as great animal welfare and promotion of biodiversity, healthy food without unnecessary additives. So if you ask consumers what they like to buy, they would like to buy those values and benefits that comes with organic. So we need to explain that to the consumer, that you get everything in this organic product, and it's good for you and it's good for the planet.
Definitely. I think, sorry, Pernille, I think it might have been my laptop earlier, so I think everyone else could hear you, but I could not. So I do. You are back.
I'm back. Okay, but to add on to what Charlotte is saying, that we see so many fantastic Danish companies who is incorporating the green agendas in so many interesting ways. I mean, it's also upcircling, where you take, for example, the leftovers from beer production or whiskey production, and you turn it into chips and flour and other interesting products, or the leftovers from juice production, which is maybe you take the ugly vegetables, turn them into juice, and you take the pulp leftover and give it to the pigs. to eat in the open air. I mean, there's so many beautiful trends and agendas that is now incorporated into the Danish companies in responsible production with the windmills of energy and giving back turnover to the local where you live. I mean, we just have to understand that when you do all these kind of things, it doesn't necessarily help with the price. So with organic, you have organic products, you have the good products, you have the best products, the better products and the best. I mean, just like with conventional products, what we see now is that we need more different kind of products on the shelf. So we see them. We see products where the consumers can buy them with a good price, but also where you can have products with a very, very premium, high quality. So before we had 1 organic products next to 4 conventional. Now we start to see more different value position on the shelves. And that's also very, very positive because organic consumers are just as different as everybody else. They have different reason for buying, so it's important. But the trends are definitely also everything around the product. Or the SDGs that is necessary, where organic is part of the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aura, going into Finland as well, where has the pandemic taken the organic consumption? Because obviously there has been an increase in sales over the last year, which I've seen in a report. So what's been successful?
Well, corona pandemic has changed. I think that has changed consumers' behavior, and the interest in responsible consumption has increased. We have, I think, the similar situation in Sweden, that the consumers are now more interested in domestic and in local food. But of course, in Finland it has also increased the sales of organic. And of course, the online shopping has increased, as well as baking at home, and the consumers are thinking more about food safety and also food security and things like that. And I think these trends relating to corona pandemic can also support organic food and promoting organic food. And in the recent consumer study, 20% of Finnish consumers said that the corona pandemic has increased the interest of organic food. So I think it's quite well.
Definitely. I think, Pernille, you mentioned a bit in the beginning, actually, about how the sort of behavior has changed and people are thinking about their health more. How does organic kind of contribute to your health, I guess?
It is healthy food. It is. I mean, I just wanted to say something before that. I make it maybe sound. It makes me. Maybe I make it sound like we in Denmark we do not care about Danish and local. Of course we do, just as much as any other country. We just are very. We communicate a lot to say, take the organic with you. I mean, it's important. It can be Danish, it can be local. But we also need to know that we cannot, no country can produce 100% everything. We need also there's a flow in products. We cannot produce bananas or olive oils. I mean,
I was about to say, you simply, there's products that you simply cannot produce in the Nordic countries. That has to be imported.
So that's was very important for me to say. I mean, I think that from as long as I have been in this business, I have also always seen the way that we communicate in Denmark is that we communicate with facts, not with feelings. Organic is not a feeling, it's what you put inside your body. So I think that the awareness of that when you eat organic, you avoid yourself for 332 E numbers in your blood. I think the whole communication that we have done so many years, I think it's maybe with the potential to be sick or having somebody in your family who's sick with corona, maybe some of those things actually starts to work. I mean, people are more aware, they have the time to think, they are at home, they take care of their beloved ones in another way. Sounds crazy, but we have the time to look at each other, and I think that food is had the trend of the medicine food, where we use food as instead of going to the doctor. At the first, we look at ourselves and see, how did I eat? Did I eat well? What's in my food? What's in my blood? I think all these things with the pandemic has started to make sense. I don't know if that made sense, but I think we are more focused on it because there is a potential danger of being sick. So healthy food is important.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that kind of message, you know, let food be thy medicine, has become more apparent in this pandemic than ever before, like you said. So yeah, I completely agree. I wanted to jump into the sort of looking ahead into the future a little bit, and I'll start with you, Charlotte. So organic in Sweden in 10 years time. I also want to incorporate the sort of farm to fork strategy as well for the 25% agricultural land to be organic by 2030. What does Sweden have to promote the continued growth of organic in the next 10 years?
I believe there will be a shift to more local food systems, and that this shift will be driven by increasing consumer demand. During the pandemic and since a couple of years, we have seen a tremendous growth of Reko-ringar in Sweden, the Reko retail and distribution model, where consumers purchase food directly from farmers without any middleman. And this tremendous growth is a clear sign that this shift is already happening, and it goes well hand in hand with the organic production and organic farming. So I believe that this trend will lead to a much greater diversity of local processors and more local mills producing flour from ancient grains, small-scale dairy companies, as well as food companies turning locally grown lentils and beans into tasty plant-based products that are also organic. So this might be a vision, but I also think this is what we see already happening. So we need to, as Pernille said, take organic with us when we are developing the more small-scale local food systems.
Definitely. And does Sweden have any kind of plans to increase organic consumption in their policies on a political level?
Yes, we have two political goals. That is the share of farmland. Now that is 20% of the farmland is organic, and it's going to be 30% in 2030. And we also have the goal for the public sector. Now we have like 38% organic food in our public kitchens, and the goal is 60% in 2030.
Fantastic. So jumping over to you, Pernille, how where is organic in 10 years in Denmark?
Well, it's always difficult to predict the future, but I think every sign is that organic, it will continue increasing, and that we will see more categories and more products and more organics on the shelves. We also, of course, work with goals, because that's a good thing to have something to focus on. And I think we will make the The EU goes for 25% of organic land area. But in Denmark, Organic Denmark, we have set a goal that is 30-30 in 2030, meaning both with land and with the consumption on the home market. And then we have a government that has given a goal of doubling the area and also export for 2030. So luckily, we have not only goals of our own, we also have goals in the EU, but we also have a Danish government who set up a goal and who is actually, can you say, investing in organic, where they are making fundings available for achieving these goals. And especially also the plant-based area, which is really important that we eat more plants. Not that we should not eat meat, I would never say that, but maybe eat organic when you eat meat, so it's less but better meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the trend, well, everything in the future also points at plant-based products. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. It's yeah, interesting to hear what the future will look like. And going to you, Aura, as well, what's in Finland, what's your vision, or where do you see organic in Finland in 10 years' time?
Well, I hope that in 10 years' time that the market share in Finland is the same that is now in Denmark, or at least the same than it's in Sweden now. And we have a lot to work to do to have that goal. But I hope that in 10 years the organic will be part of everyday life for Finns, and the use in a household as well as in food service will grow. And of course, I hope that these organic methods are widely used in all agriculture in Finland. So it's not just in like organic farming, but we are doing good for all the food production. And this organic farming will be like the most important driver for sustainable food production. And of course, I have to agree on Pernille for that we have to eat more plants. And I agree with that as we should eat like less meat, but better meat and organic meat when we eat it.
And does the government in Finland have any local targets to hit organic consumption or
Yes.
production? Yeah.
Yes. No, we don't. The government doesn't have any specific goals for consumption, but they are actually right now writing our organic national plan for organic. So maybe we will have some new goals there, I hope. But we have the same goal than in EU, this 25% of agricultural land in 2030. And then we have the goal for the public kitchens, that 25% of the food in public kitchens will be organic in 2030. And then I think we will have the aim to double our export to 2030 as well. But like I said, our national plan for organic production is not ready yet. So I think we will have it in summer, and then we will know better our government goals for the organic production.
Interesting. Keep us updated what that will come out as. I wanted to go into some questions from what people have been sending in, if that's okay with everyone, unless you want to mention anything else. But wanted to start off with, let's see here. So we've already covered some things over the session, but I want to go back to you, Pernille, actually, because it was quite an interesting question from Germany about some of the potentials for exporting Danish products into Germany. So this person has mentioned that they have been exporting products from Denmark to Germany over years, and they know the similarities very well. But what are some of the similar trends in terms of organic consumption in Denmark and Germany, and how are the products similar? What's the potential there?
Okay, that was a big question. I mean,
yeah,
we have to know. It's okay. I don't know where the person is coming from in Germany, but Germany is a huge country, and I think there's a very, very big difference between exporting to Berlin and to Hamburg and to Munich. I think, but in general, I think the green agendas from the demand from the consumers are the same as in Denmark, with the packaging, responsible production, animal welfare, how we treat our animals, and of course it should be organic inside, but what do we do with the product? So it could be that in Berlin they don't want to have drinks in cans, but in Hamburg they don't care. We always go into every region and every retailer to see how we can match their values and what they are up to. But most of us are also following the consumers' demands. Not that they know everything. I mean, consumers should stop throwing plastic into the nature. It's not the producer's fault, but in general, I think that consumers and products that we export to Germany. Germany is our biggest exportation market with 42%, increasing a little bit. It's a little bit stable now, but I think the green agendas, and here the Danish companies are really, really innovative and very clever. And they are having this high food safety and very skilled in being very precise in delivery and all the rules. I think they know Germany really well. They speak the language most of the time, otherwise we do. I don't know if I'm answering the question. I don't know.
No, that's fine. It's a big question. It's like it's a big answer. So
I had something on my mind that I wanted to say, but the person can always
yes, I can send. Yes, of course, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. So I wanted to move on to more of kind of bigger general questions. I'm not sure who wants to take this one, but someone's asked if there's a Nordic certification compatible with the US organic certification for categories of food, which is also a quite tricky question because obviously there isn't a Nordic recognized organic certification. So would you say that this is more the EU certification would be compatible with that?
If you are asking me, I'm not really into the US certification, what it can and what it holds. I mean, I think probably the EU market, even us 3 countries, we have different ways of labeling organics. In Denmark is a very unique with the state control organic label, which is controlled by the state, everything from farm to fork. So that's another way of doing it. So it's not private label, but private. It's a state control, which makes everything so much easier and so much more safe for the food.
Yeah, the EU logo is our common logo.
Yeah, it is.
And then we have our national, like we have Krav, our national organic label or sustainable label that goes further in some areas. So I guess we don't have a Nordic label yet.
We will work on that.
Yeah, wow, let's work on that for sure. I think that would be interesting. And Aura, do you know what you mentioned earlier that the EU logo is very recognized in Finland. Is that more recognized than the local Finnish
yes,
logo?
Now it is, because our national label is actually companies doesn't even use that so much anymore. So everyone is using this EU organic logo. But we have the same system as in Denmark, that government is like it's not a private certification system. It's like government certification system, this organic one. Because you can decide it in like in every country, in every EU country, how you will manage that. And we have this own label, but like I said, that I think it's disappearing because nobody isn't using it, or some companies are, but most of them not. And I think we are now just starting to use this EU organic logo more and more because it's common in EU, and we believe in that. But of course, in Finland we see lots of this Danish label and Bladh label too, because we have products from Denmark and in Sweden in the supermarkets.
But that's interesting. So in each of your countries as well, do they recognize so in Denmark, do people recognize Krav, for example, as an organic logo, and the other way around? And
I think, yes, we do. I mean, Krav has, but maybe it started for another reason, because that was necessary to enter to the Swedish market. So I think in the beginning, Danish exporters to Coop, or they knew to get into Coop, they needed this cow logo. So I think in that way it's recognized. I also wanted to say that the Danish organic logo is not that well known abroad. So when Danish companies go abroad, they use the EU label, and then on top of that, depending on what the retailer in the country demands of EFS certification or Bioland or Demeter or whatever, they incorporate that as well. But EU label is important.
Yeah, that seems to be obviously the overarching.
Yeah, in Europe it is. As to answer the question of,
yeah. Oh, I would like to add, when talking about the label, it can seem like not so strategic or important, but the label is a way for the consumer to pick a sustainable food system. So if you think of this little label on every product, it's much more that it's coming with that you think of when you think about it first. I think it's really very, very important that we also communicate to the consumers and the retailers and our politicians and everyone, talking about how can we change the food system, how can we shape the world, like having more biodiversity, clean water, healthy soils, happy animals and everything. And we already, in the organic production in our system, we already have a common rules, common standards, third-party certification, and finally this little label, so that the consumers can pick this food, this sustainable food system in the shelf. It's like, it's unique. It's so smart. So when we talk about how can we change, we already have the answer. So let's do it more.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important also that when it's visible on the shelves, the consumer can decode directly where is the healthy food without thinking just with this mark, if it's cow or if it's European or the red label. Yeah. Actually, in Denmark, the red label is recognized by 89% of the population, which is quite amazing. It's almost a Coca-Cola brand. Not to compare organic with Coca-Cola, sorry.
It's the same with Krav in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. And
recognized by 98%
yeah.
of Swedish consumers.
So
yeah.
Thank you so much for saying what you just said, Charlotte. I think that was very, very important to have that on the table. Thank you.
Good. So a lot of people are actually asking about the upcoming trends. So I thought we should run through that as a category. And I think plant-based seems to be a very hot topic at the moment. Charlotte, what do you think? What's the upcoming trend in Sweden in terms of organic and something else?
As we talked about, the different benefits or added values, and it's easy to talk about one at a time. Plant-based, local, from Sweden, and I think those trends need to merge, and we need to develop more products that are coming with more added values at a time, and they should be organic, and they should be sometimes plant-based and local, and I guess the trend will be that it will go in that direction. And as I said before, also to work more small scale, and also that the retail chains accept that maybe there are not big volumes year round from the producers, that you can have smaller organic producers selling their fruits and vegetables for a shorter time of year, and more seasonal and more small scale, I would say.
No, that's absolutely. And Aura, what do you agree with this in Finland? Do you see any other upcoming trends?
Well, the local food is one, of course, but I think maybe easy food, something that you can quite easily prepare. I think that's really growing trend for Finland. And of course, healthy food and healthy living, and this food as a medicine thought. And of course, these plant-based products are growing really fast. And I agree with Charlotte that we need products that have many added values, like they are like local and plant-based and organic, and or something else even. I think that these are the main trends relating to organic right now, but maybe we have something more in the future. I don't know.
No, absolutely, that's interesting. And Pernille, what's the upcoming trends? I saw something from Coop about snacking as well, which is quite interesting. But you might have more.
But I think the trends that just were mentioned by Charlotte and Aura are similar in Denmark. Of course, we also have from the production. We can see now that the company are involving the whole chain, means that they want the farmer to be responsible. They want the companies that they buy from to be responsible, and the upcycle. I mean, not to throw something away. We know that from food waste, but it goes into production as well now. That one producer of something has some leftovers that somebody else can use in their production to maintain proteins and vitamins. It's ugly vegetables, that you do not leave half of the vegetables on the fields just because they do not have the right size or shape, is starting to enter enormously into the to production of innovative, and these are very, very good messages to send, and to involve also the whole agenda, the green agendas and the UN goals, etc. To use what nature gives us, and not force nature to give us something that it cannot give us, or that more responsible production, but also in the way that we grow things, we produce them, and it's the green agendas are very important. Also, the social responsibility. We had the 3% that we call first movers. They actually hit us all the time to make us be even better in the green agenda. So that's something that we listen to.
No, absolutely. I think it's very common trends across the Nordic. We're very similar in so many ways. So
and
that's,
also selling directly from the farm. We see that more and more. And on top of the local thing, that people love when they drive in the countryside, and they are getting more and more professional. They're getting even better, and we see more and more organic small booths where you can buy fantastic food. So that could be also competition to the supermarket, and their plastic on everything. I mean, in Denmark we have plastic around everything, and that's it's a shame. Yeah.
Well, supermarkets need to up their game, it sounds like, and just be on top of things, because there's competition coming, it sounds like. So
we keep focus. Yeah, we need to keep being in dialogue with the retailers all the time, doing better together with them. It's not a point of criticism all the time. We also need to help them with solutions, so that we can help them in a strategic way, how to incorporate organics and how to make it easier to sell and communicate with the consumers, because that's what the consumers want. So it's we need to be there, out there, helping them.
Absolutely, and we need to continue working together as a Nordic region as well. And I'm very conscious of the time now, so I'm going to have to obviously let you all go. But thank you so much for joining. And there's so much to discuss, and there's so much more we can talk about. And I want to remind everyone about the Nordic Organic Food Fair, obviously, which is coming up the 17th and 18th of November in Malmö, Sweden. And I hope we can all get together there, and maybe we can continue this discussion on stage in front of everyone. So I hope you'll all be joining us. I'm sure you already will be, and already tickets booked, I'm hoping.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, even though we cannot see the audience and their reaction and everything. We miss that so much. So it could be wonderful to be more physical, alive, or not alive, but live. Maybe on a Nordic Organic Food Fair.
Yeah, let's meet in November.
Yes, we all meet. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Sounds good. Thank you so much. And I'll forward those questions, because there's a huge amount that we haven't gone through. So I'll send them all to you so you can have a look at them as well. So thank you everyone for joining, and speak to you soon.
Yes. Take care.
Take care.
Safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.